Kia ora e te whānau. Here is what we are making today. This guy here. So stick around, we'll make that, and if you are making the whole series, we're also going to be working on putting the rings on, as well as making our back clasp for our journal, and then she will be done. If you're new here, welcome. All the links that you would need, the series, the whole series from start to finish is right here if you would like to make a journal like this one, and we will get started. Okay, my lovelies, so I have tried to do as much prep as I possibly can, and this is why I said this is not going to matter. I don't need to show you collaging. I've only stuck plain fabric onto the back, but isn't it gorgeous? It's Sanderson's and it's from an old cushion, and I just love it, and I've been waiting for the right thing to use for it, because most of it is going to be completely covered up anyway. Okay, so this piece here is just an A4. I have chopped about that much off the top, just so that it's a little bit shorter, but that will just depend whether you want it to go to the very top and bottom, or if you just want a little bit of a border top and bottom like I did, because I quite liked the name of that song. And then for the outside, I haven't been able to copy this, unfortunately, because it's not quite out of copyright yet, but I am going to place that on the front, and I'm going to turn it into pockets. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So all I do is I make sure that I've got it up the way that I want, and then I just line it up, open it up, make sure it's where I want it, and just do 2 little pen marks. Okay, then I'm going to slice that down, and that first bit is going to go right up to that edge. So I'm just going to glue that on as normal. Then we will come back and slice it once it's glued on. That just makes life a little bit easier. And then this side, I'm not going to bother trimming that extra part off so that it looks like it's the picture's continuing exactly. That one is going to be glued on, but I'm going to leave it as a pocket. So what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to slice that and this first before. So this one's easy. Okay, so what are we measuring? Should be, so it's 19 centimeters. So 8.5 is going to be our half. Okay, now we've got all our doors, and so over here I'm just going to glue the top part of the image to the top door. So I'll just run some glue along this edge because I can't really see where I'm going to cut. I haven't made any marks. Down here, and then I'll use the top edge so I don't go too far with the glue. Glue here, and then I can safely pop that on without over gluing. Now I just need to recut through the image along the line that I can already see we cut the first time. And now I can safely glue this guy on, just lining him up with the first one that we put there. Okay, so there's our doors with our pockets, so I'll just let that dry before we do our next step. Sorry, lost a little bit of filming there, but literally all I have done is I have stuck another piece of paper down, stuck some lined paper on, stuck some pieces and then cut around them for the ledger, and now I just need to again reslice through here so that it's gone through the ledger on the other side as well. Here we go, and back through that one again too. Okay, now I haven't inked yet, but I'm just going to ink around those as well so that it hides that white a little bit. I've also pre-cut some pockets that I'm just going to put in here like this, but I will do this next part first. So what we need is a gap cut in here, and you don't want it too big or the slider moves around too much, but you don't want it too small or it will slide around. It will be really hard to slide around. So we find our middle, and this side is never going to be seen, so we can draw directly on it. I've got 14.5 across there, so it's 7.25, so 2, 4, 6, 7 and half of that. Just check. Great. So we want to leave a little bit up here for support and a little bit down there for support. And we just want to, I mean, you can always measure this and do it in pen if you like. I don't normally, I just slice it. So I'm going to go to about there. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to do almost the exact same amount on the other side of that line. And then I'm just going to so there you go, it doesn't need to be much, but we do need a little bit up there, top and bottom. So that's what I meant by the writing. You can write this side and you can write that side, but you can't write down the middle. So I'm just going to quickly go away and ink, and I will be back. Okay, for our mechanism we need to just make one of these. That's what that sits onto. And we glue that to that, and this part sits underneath here. So this is just from my hole punch, which is 5 centimeters. I think that's 2 inches. So I can't do exactly 5 5 centimeters because you'll get the corners sticking off. So I've gone instead to 4.5. It's 4.5 times 3, so that's 13.5 centimeters, and I've just made it 2 centimeters in height. So all I do is I kind of find the middle, which is now there, and then I just it doesn't have to be perfect, just need to make sure. So it doesn't matter if this bit sticks off a little bit. There we go, I did that one better. And then I'll just trim that little bit off. And that gets stuck onto, that way. Stuck onto the bottom like that, and that little slider piece is what sits in between. I'll show you in a minute. So I've just punched a hole, just grab anything. I'm going to put a little resin dome on there, but there's no reason why you couldn't use a doily, another picture. You might have a nice picture or a photo. I mean, it can be anything. You don't have to ink that. You shouldn't see it at all. But I do want just another couple of extra pieces of this to make this just a little bit more sturdy. And I want to be able to put some sort of pull mechanism so that I can slide it up and down without having to actually do it with my fingers like that. So we should probably do that part first. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, so I'll punch another 2 of these in about 240 GSM card, and I'm just going to punch a hole top and bottom and put 2 little tiny eyelets in there, and I will just fast forward that so that you can see how I'm doing it. Okay, so I have done one of these, and I'll show you how to do the one on the other end. And you could just obviously, you know, do the old trick, put that through with some thin lace, put the ends through the middle. That'll make a perfectly good little holder as well. But I thought these little tassels actually look quite cute. So this is, I don't know what this string is, somebody tell me. Crochet, is it? I don't know, I think it is. And it's 3 strand, and all I do, because I like the way it crimps, is I just turn it back in the other direction till I can get one thread, and then I pull that one out, and then the other 2 come apart perfectly fine. Okay, and I think I've done 6 on the other one, so I'll do 6 on this one as well. And then I just fold it in half, and this is just to get it through the hole initially, because otherwise it's a nightmare. And I just feed it through, and then I find the middle again, and I only pull through one side of. I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter anyway. And then I've just got these guys. They are little leather end jewellery crimps, I believe. and we don't need the little hole at the top, so I just get my metal snips and focus camera. I'm just going to chop that bit off so that I've still got, I'll show you what I've chopped off. So I've still got this little U shape, and that's all we need. And this is the part that I have chopped off, so we don't necessarily need the little back piece or the hole. And then I just use that. I love doing this to tags, tops of tags as well, it's quite cute. And then you just put the U on so that the bottom of the U is at the front, and then I'm just going to pinch down each side with my fingers like that, and then I will just give it another crimp with my pliers. Make sure it's where I want it. There we go. Little tassel top and bottom. Just going to chop those so that they are even. Like giving it a haircut. Okay, there we go. And then all we need to do is grab these two guys here, put them through the middle like that, and actually sometimes I do, I'll just show you. Sometimes I do glue that to there and that to there. Still means this little part's open, but that one's a bit more secure. I'll just do it so that I can show you. It's just a bit of glue there and a bit of glue there. Just means that the cardboard that's sliding through is just a little bit stronger because it's now 2 layers. Then chuck those guys back through there and flatten them down. Pop some glue on them. This is what I mean, it doesn't matter if it's exactly even, it will still do its job. And then I just need to make sure, is that the right way up? No. Just make sure that sticks to there without sticking to anything else. So sometimes what I do is I'll just get 2 pieces of plastic and pop them under there just to make sure that I can pull it out, or baking paper, something non-stick. And then that guy slides up. You can close those, and then when it's in the middle it keeps them both locked. So I'll just allow that to dry and then I'll come back. Okay, so I am just going to now glue these little pockets. That's the shape of them, easy peasy, onto each little door. Okay, so now we need to do a little closure on the back. So all I have done is lined that up, grabbed my pen and put a hole punch with my crocodile. And then to make the little elastic closure, I've just got, so I just bought some little hair ties, and I've got a couple of beads that have decent size holes in them, and a D-ring picture frame hanging. But you can, if you're looking for them on Temu, I think they come under boot laces as well. You can get them, and they're very similar, if not the same thing. And I'm going to need a single-sided rivet, which means that only one side has that, whereas a double-sided has two of those, one either side. And I've just chopped one of those that we used on the pull closure for the mechanism on the slide lock. So first of all, I'm just going to pop this one, just like we do a lot of our tags. Okay, then I am going to pop the beads on. Oh, I might do the bigger one first, then have the smaller one here. This one's a little bit harder to get through, but I got there in the end. There we go. So that's what we've got so far. And then I'm just going to put that little U clip here so the beads don't move around when the elastic stretches. So just make sure, and then I'm just going to gently close those with my fingers first. And then grab my pliers. So it will still stretch a little bit, but those beads won't be able to come off now. So that's what we've got for our closure. And then all we need to do is this, the back side that's nice and flat, that's going to go in here. Might need a bigger, no, perfect size hole. And then that guy goes on there, and clip that in, and then I always lock it in by pushing it past the first little divot until I hear a second click, and now that one is not going to come undone. So now I can stick this on and it will hide that completely. So the only thing I did while you were away is I just made a couple of quick little tags. I mean, they're squares with a hole punched stamp in the middle and a tab. I'm pretty sure most of you are capable of making a pretty little tag that you can pop in there. And on the inside I've just put a little cigarette card in each pocket. And unfortunately the cigarette cards, they're only about 1930s. I did look them up, but those particular ones I cannot scan. So all I'm going to do is I am going to glue. Now you don't want to glue any, so all of this is glued, all of this is glued, and that top bit that we left and the bottom bit that we left is glued, but wherever that slides, obviously we don't want any glue. And if we go too close, it actually makes this harder to move. So I usually just glue in to about here, right across, about that much down. Okay, so I'll do it so that you can see it, and I'll fast forward it. There we go, and then I'm just going to carefully turn it over. Put it as close to those as I can. And then I'm going to put something heavy on it while it dries. I'll be back in a second. And oh my goodness, my lovelies, we are up to our final step. So, putting the rings in and how to put the pages together. So I just make sure when I'm putting them together that, so I'll show you the order that I've put them in so that you can do it in that order if you want to, but that'll just depend if you use this exact pack or if you've got your own. But what I try to do is I make sure that these pages that are writing pages are not together. So they go in between the more intricate and interactive pages. So there's another one. And I just make sure, say, that this one on this page doesn't have too much of this pattern. So, for example, I wouldn't have put those two together so that they open together, just because I've used the same. So there you go, they're miles apart and then they look really individual. Here we go. And for our rings, I had a play around last night. These are the ones that I am going to be using. They are oversized, but even so, when you see them on the journal, they need it. They actually need to be slightly bigger, but so I'm pretty sure most of them are sold in centimeters. So as you can see, from edge to edge, it's about almost 7 centimeters. From inside to inside, it's about 6.5. I don't think you'll have them in inches, but it looks like about 2 3/4. So I don't, if you've made it like this, you can probably see why I stopped now, because she doesn't have that many pages, but she is a chunky monkey. So I'm just going to pop these on, just obviously through the rings, through the eyelets that we've got. And I usually just stand it up so that it's easier to see, and then I'll just thread them through. So I will do that with all 3, and then I will pop back. So there's one done. Okay, so I'll be back soon. Okay, so rings in, and double check that our closure works. And you will see how why I said that these do need to probably be even bigger than that. See how you can see how that's arcing. I think that is kind of part of a ring bound. I mean, you don't want your rings to be too huge. But I tell you what does annoy me is when the joints turn around. And the reason why that annoys me is because they get stuck in the eyelets sometimes. So what I usually do, so that it's got a nice smooth turning, is I bring them around to the back, And that's kind of where I want them to stay. I want them to live here so that you can open it and they'll swing around nice and clean. So grab some sari ribbon or lace, and then what we want to do is put it in half like that. Put that around there like we do our tags. And we want to make sure that one of these sits on either side of the hinge. Then I'm going to tie a knot. Then I'm going to put one of these ends through the eyelet. I'm going to push it through to the back. And make sure that is where I want it. And then I am going to tie maybe a double knot there. You could either just cut those short, or I usually just do a little bow because I don't think that harms anything. She still looks cute. And before you tie that last bow, you could put a little spot of glue in there if you don't want it to come undone. But that then will hold that hinge right where it needs to be without it being able to turn either way. Okay. So there she is. She is all done. She is all complete. All I'm going to do now is grab some of my original ephemera that I can't scan, fill a couple of extra bits in pockets. I will probably use one of my resin charms to hang off this tab here, and then she is absolutely done. There is one other thing that you can do. You could grab some lace and you could glue a piece just through here like that, and that just, it helps disguise the rings a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to chop a piece off and glue it along this border, just so that if I take that away, it makes the rings look less huge. So you could do that as well. And that is the end of our chapter. So I do have another one up my sleeve, like I've mentioned before. It's love letters and lace, and I've used a lot of original love letters to make the collections, the digitals. You could check out a sneak peek of the ones I've got together so far. I haven't got the kit together yet, so don't jump in too quick, but at least it'll give you an idea of what it's going to look like. And if you're still hanging around, I might just give you a sneak peek. Hang on. So here she is. This is Love Letters and Lace, Beloved, or Beloved. And this is the kind of journal I'll be looking to make on the next Come Make With Me. So all neutrals, lots of actual love letters, old handwriting. I've really enjoyed making this, and how this is going to work is I have this journal and I have another one, and that's Love Letters and Lace Devotion, and that one has a moulded cover. So I want to make that cover on camera because I promised that I would, and it's polymer clay and painting effects to make it look like a really old, gorgeous old book. So that would be the start of this next series. These two as they are will be up for adoption as soon as I flip them through, but I'm also going to do a video where I flip through both of them at once, and that's going to have the page numbers up the top right of the screen. What that's for is I want you guys to choose the pages, some of the pages that we're going to make in the journal that we make together. So if I flip through and it says page 1, page 2, and you really liked page 2, you'd pop that in the comments, and then I'm going to tally up the comments and see which ones were quite popular, and we'll actually make those pages for the third journal. Does that make sense? Kind of like a pick a path. Kind of wanted to get you guys involved in part of the journal making. And yeah, I thought that was quite a cute idea. Anyway, don't be too sad that we have finished this lovely lady, because we do have something exciting coming up. And if you, next time I see you, I will do the flip through, and then the week after that, I'd really, really love to do the slideshow. So if you've been making along, and I don't mind if it's using the kit or not, I would love to show it. I don't mind if you're an absolute beginner or someone who's quite experienced. And if you want me to say across the screen, beginner or experienced, just pop that in the email. I'm more than happy to do that. But there will be absolutely zero judgment. Everything people make is beautiful in its own right, and you will get nothing but support from me. So if you would like me to be able to show your work, as I'd love to, please feel free, use the email in the video description, and I will make sure at least the first 10 that I receive will be on the slideshow. It is a mammoth effort to pair up all the photos with the names on the slideshow, but I will try to do 10 at least. So if you would like to be one of those people, please reach out. And until next time, stay warm, stay happy, stay crafty. Mā te wā.